On a quiet summer morning in 2025, a man's body was found on the muddy banks of the Willow River in the small town of Willow Creek, Iowa. The endless cornfields stretched out under the wide open sky, and the lazy flow of the river wound through old oak groves, painting a serene picture of rural life. But this gruesome discovery shattered the peace of the tight-knit community. The victim was Will Carter, a 38-year-old farmer, found dead on July 10th, his body riddled with fatal stab wounds from a sharp weapon. Before we jump into this chilling tale, tell us where you're tuning in from. Drop a comment below, and if this story grabs you, hit that like button to let us know. Make sure you're subscribed to /Family Crime Files. Because tomorrow, we've got something extra special lined up for you. Will Carter was a hard-working man, respected by the folks of Willow Creek for his grit and honesty. He ran a small family farm, growing corn and raising chickens, enough to provide for his wife, Lila Harper, 35, and their 8-year-old daughter, Sophie Carter. Lila was a striking woman, once the talk of the town, catching the eye of many before she settled down with Will. To outsiders, their family life seemed idyllic. A simple clapboard house with a wraparound porch, a small vegetable garden, and a chicken coop out back. But behind closed doors, cracks in their marriage had been growing, fueled by whispers of Lila's affair. On that fateful morning, a local fisherman stumbled upon Will's body among the tall grasses by the riverbank, about a mile from their home. The body was partially submerged in the shallow water, but the deep gashes on Will's chest and abdomen told a story of brutal violence. There was no sign of robbery. His wallet and simple wedding band were still on him. The Willow Creek Sheriff's Department, unaccustomed to handling such serious crimes in their sleepy town, quickly ruled it a murder driven by personal motives. All eyes turned to Lila Harper as the Willow Creek Sheriff's Department dove into the murder of Will Carter. The town was heavy with tension, the air thick with whispers as townsfolk gathered outside the local diner, murmuring about Lila's rumored affair with Travis Boone, a truck driver who often rolled through Willow Creek delivering farm supplies. The gossip wasn't new, but Will's death thrust it into the spotlight. When Sheriff's Detective Daniel Hayes and his team arrived at the crime scene, they noted the grim atmosphere. Lila, informed of her husband's death, showed up at the riverbank with a pale face, clutching her daughter Sophie tightly. She didn't cry or wail, answering the deputy's questions in a flat, emotionless tone, as if hiding something. Lila claimed Will had left the house the previous evening, saying he was checking the irrigation system in a distant field. She insisted she'd stayed home all night with Sophie and knew nothing about why Will ended up by the river. But her unnervingly calm demeanor raised red flags for Detective Hayes. He ordered a search of the Carters' home and summoned Travis Boone for questioning. Meanwhile, the townsfolk's whispers grew louder, some claiming they'd seen Lila and Travis meeting in secret at an old barn near the cornfields. At the crime scene, deputies found a curious clue: a thin silver bracelet with a simple floral engraving nestled in the grass a few yards from Will's body. It didn't belong to Will, and no one in town claimed it. Detective Hayes believed it could be a key piece of evidence, but identifying its owner proved tricky. No clear fingerprints or DNA were found. With few security cameras in Willow Creek and none near the river, the investigation relied heavily on physical clues and witness statements. Detective Daniel Hayes and his team dug deeper into the life of Will Carter, determined to unravel the mystery of his brutal murder by the Willow River. Their first stop was the Carter family's clapboard farmhouse, a modest home with a small vegetable garden out front and a chicken coop nestled in the backyard. Inside, the house felt orderly but cold, as if the warmth of family life had long since faded. Deputies noticed something telling in the master bedroom: a single bed with a worn quilt folded neatly in the corner, hinting that Will and Lila no longer shared a bed. In Lila's room, tucked away in a drawer, they found a wooden box containing a handful of handwritten letters, unsigned but brimming with tender words about stolen moments by the river and dreams of a freer future. The handwriting was bold and angular, unlike Lila's soft looping script, leading Hayes to suspect they were penned by Travis Boone. He sent the letters to the lab for analysis and ordered a deeper look into Lila and Travis's relationship. Travis Boone, a 32-year-old truck driver from a nearby town, hauled farm supplies across the Midwest. When deputies brought him in for questioning, he strode into the sheriff's station with a confident swagger, but his eyes darted nervously when Lila's name came up. He admitted to stopping by Willow Creek often for deliveries and chatting with Lila a few times at the Rusty Spoon Diner, but he firmly denied any affair, insisting they were just casual acquaintances. When pressed about rumors of secret meetings in the old barn near the cornfields, Travis grew flustered, stammering that those were just chance encounters for small talk. His shaky answers only deepened Hayes's suspicions, and he ordered deputies to keep a close eye on the truck driver. Meanwhile, the forensics team analyzed Will's phone, found in his jacket pocket at the crime scene. They uncovered a cryptic text message from an unlisted number, sent the night before the murder. "Meet me by the river at 10 p.m. Urgent." The number traced back to a prepaid burner phone, untrackable, leading Hayes to theorize that Will had been lured to the riverbank for a fatal rendezvous. The deputies also searched the old barn near the cornfields, where Lila and Travis were rumored to meet. There they found a weathered men's jacket with a dried blood stain on the sleeve. DNA tests revealed the blood wasn't Will's, but the jacket reeked of diesel fuel, the kind used in trucks, pointing a finger at Travis. When confronted, Travis claimed he'd left the jacket in the barn months ago, but had no idea how the blood got there. Though not enough to make an arrest, the evidence tightened the net around Travis. The investigation turned back to the silver bracelet found near Will's body. Deputies traced it to a local jeweler in a nearby town who recalled selling a similar piece to a woman about 3 months earlier. The transaction was cash, leaving no paper trail, and the lead hit a dead end. Hayes, however, was convinced the bracelet tied back to Lila or someone else in Willow Creek. To uncover a motive, the team interviewed Will's family and neighbors. They learned that Will had suspected Lila's affair and had once confronted her in a heated argument at the town's annual harvest festival, overheard by half the county. One neighbor recalled Will's bitter words, "If she's betraying me, I won't let it slide." These revelations fueled the theory that Lila might have killed Will to escape a stifling marriage and pursue her relationship with Travis. After over a month of digging, Hayes's team still hadn't pinned down the killer. Lila and Travis remained prime suspects, but hard evidence linking them to the crime was scarce. Then, a string of unexpected discoveries shifted the investigation, peeling back darker secrets about the Carter family's fractured life. A stunning breakthrough rocked the investigation when Sheriff's Detective Daniel Hayes and his team stumbled upon a hidden trail camera set up by a local hunter to track deer near the Willow River. Tucked away in a thicket, the camera had captured a grainy video from the night of Will Carter's murder. The footage showed a hooded figure standing near Will's lifeless body, seemingly checking the scene before slipping away into the darkness. Though the face was obscured, the figure's gait bore a striking resemblance to Lila Harper, and the hooded jacket matched one found in her closet during the house search. Armed with this damning evidence, Hayes summoned Lila for another round of questioning at the Willow Creek Sheriff's Station. Preparing and narrating this chilling story took us a lot of time, so if you're hooked on this twisted tale, hit that subscribe button to Swashtas Family Crime Files. It means the world to us. Drop a comment below with your guess. Is Lila the killer, or is there more to this mystery? And if this case has you on the edge of your seat, give it a like and share it with your friends to see if they can crack the case. Under the harsh fluorescent lights of the interrogation room, Lila broke down when confronted with the video evidence. Tears streamed down her face as she admitted she'd gone to the river that night, but swore she didn't kill Will. She revealed receiving a text from an unknown number, urging her to meet at the river at 10:30 p.m. to discuss Travis Boone. When she arrived, she found Will already dead, blood pooling around him on the riverbank. Panicked and terrified of being blamed, she fled without calling the sheriff, fearing no one would believe her. Her confession explained her presence at the scene, but did little to clear her name. When pressed about her relationship with Travis, Lila's composure crumbled further, and she laid bare the full story of their affair. It all started innocently enough at the Rusty Spoon Diner, where Lila stopped to grab supplies one afternoon. Travis, taking a break after a long haul, struck up a conversation about the weather and the harvest, cracking a joke about his truck getting stuck in the mud on a back road. Lila laughed, a rare moment of lightness in her stifled life. Travis's easygoing charm stood in stark contrast to Will's quiet, stoic nature, and Lila felt a spark she hadn't known in years. Their chance meetings grew more frequent as Travis began timing his deliveries to pass through Willow Creek in the late afternoons, when Lila ran errands. Their talk shifted from small talk about crop prices to deeper confessions about feeling trapped. Lila in her marriage, Travis in his rootless life on the road, dreaming of opening an auto shop one day. That shared vulnerability pulled them closer, and soon their connection crossed a dangerous line. As the investigation into Will Carter's murder deepened, the tangled web of secrets in Willow Creek, Iowa, began to unravel. Lila Harper's affair with Travis Boone had crossed a dangerous line, pulling them into a forbidden romance that threatened to tear her family apart. In the winter of 2023, Travis suggested they meet at an old barn near the cornfields, a secluded spot where farmers stored tools and hay bales, rarely visited after dusk. The barn became their secret haven. During their first meeting there, Travis slipped a thin silver bracelet with a floral pattern onto Lila's wrist, saying he'd picked it up at a local flea market as a keepsake for her. Hesitant but touched, Lila accepted the gift, marking the start of their illicit affair. They met regularly on Tuesday and Friday evenings, when Will was busy checking irrigation pumps or attending meetings with the local farmers' co-op. Lila lied to Will, claiming she was visiting a cousin or helping a neighbor, while she spent hours with Travis in the barn. Those stolen moments were filled with passionate promises of a new life, one where Lila could break free from the confines of Willow Creek and start over with Travis. Though Travis never explicitly promised marriage, his words gave Lila hope that he was serious about their future. To avoid suspicion, they exchanged handwritten notes, tucked away in a hidden nook inside the barn's weathered beams instead of texting. Will sometimes checked Lila's phone. Travis's notes, short but heartfelt, spoke of their time together and his dreams of a life beyond the road. Lila kept these letters in a wooden box under her bed, reading them in quiet moments when loneliness crept in. But their secret wasn't foolproof. Lila grew paranoid about townsfolk noticing Travis's frequent stops in Willow Creek, especially when a few locals raised eyebrows at his lingering presence at the Rusty Spoon Diner. She also wrestled with guilt over Sophie, her innocent daughter, who knew nothing of the cracks in her parents' marriage. Travis, meanwhile, sometimes grew impatient when Lila wavered about leaving Will, creating tense moments that left her torn between love and duty. The investigation took a darker turn when deputies searched Travis Boone's small apartment in a neighboring town. Inside a toolbox, they found a hunting knife case, but the knife itself was missing. Travis couldn't explain the knife's absence, claiming he hadn't used it in months. More troubling, they discovered a hidden messaging app on his phone, under the alias Willow River, which had sent a text to Lila, luring her to the river on the night of the murder. When confronted, Travis admitted to sending the message but insisted he only wanted Lila and Will to confront each other and resolve their issues. This revelation raised more questions than answers, tightening the scrutiny on Travis. The arrest of Megan Walsh sent ripples through the investigation into Will Carter's murder as the tangled secrets of Willow Creek, Iowa began to surface. At 37, Megan looked haggard and wary, her eyes sharp with suspicion when deputies brought her in for questioning. Initially, she denied any involvement, her voice steady but clipped. But under relentless pressure from Detective Daniel Hayes, Megan's defenses crumbled, and she confessed to a chilling plan driven by a deep-seated grudge against Lila Harper. Around 9 p.m. on the night of the murder, Megan used a burner phone to send a cryptic text to Will Carter. "Meet me by the river at 10 p.m., urgent." She deliberately hid her identity, making Will believe it was about farm business or an emergency. At the same time, she sent a second text to Lila, urging her to come to the river at 10:30 p.m. to discuss Travis Boone. Her plan was diabolical. Kill Will first, then ensure Lila arrived to find his body, framing her as the prime suspect. Megan arrived at the Willow River by 9:45 p.m., hiding in the tall grasses near a small wooden bridge. She wore a hooded jacket and gloves to avoid leaving fingerprints, clutching a hunting knife concealed in her sleeve. When Will appeared right on time, walking along the riverbank with a small flashlight, Megan watched from the shadows. He paused near a cluster of willows to check an irrigation pipe, completely unaware of the danger. Moving silently on the soft earth, Megan crept up behind him. At just a yard away, she lunged, plunging the knife into Will's back, just below his left shoulder. The strike was swift and precise, slicing through muscle and bone. Will collapsed, crying out in agony, and tried to turn and fight back. But Megan, fueled by cold determination, stabbed him 4 more times in the chest and abdomen, each blow targeting vital organs with ruthless accuracy. Will crumpled to the riverbank, blood seeping into the muddy water. Megan stood over him, her face hidden beneath the hood, expressionless. She checked to ensure he was dead, then deliberately placed the silver bracelet a few yards away, leaving it half exposed in the grass. She wiped the knife clean on Will's jacket to erase fingerprints and hid it in a thicket about 200 yards from the scene, planning to retrieve it later. By 10:15 p.m., Megan slipped away, just minutes before Lila arrived. When Lila stumbled upon Will's body, she fled in panic, exactly as Megan had hoped. Watching from a distance, Megan felt a grim satisfaction as her plan unfolded. She returned to her hideout in a nearby town, destroyed the burner phone, and burned the hooded jacket to eliminate evidence, believing Lila would take the fall, especially with her affair with Travis Boone fueling the town's suspicions. When asked why she targeted Will, whom she'd once loved, Megan's voice grew cold. Years ago, she had poured her heart out to Will, confessing her feelings in a vulnerable moment. Will, ever gentle, told her he loved only Lila and wished Megan happiness elsewhere. Though kind, his rejection cut deep, leaving a wound that festered over time. Megan felt betrayed not just by Will, but by Lila, whom she blamed for stealing the man she loved. When she returned to the area in 2025, living under an assumed name, she learned of Lila's affair with Travis. Instead of feeling vindicated, Megan's hatred for Lila intensified. She saw Lila as unworthy of Will's love, while her own feelings for him, though warped by time, had morphed into an obsession. In her twisted mind, killing Will was a way to free him from an unhappy marriage while leaving Lila to drown in guilt and suspicion. Megan showed no remorse, insisting that Will would have suffered more if he'd lived with Lila's betrayal. The truth about Will Carter's murder came to a head in a tense confrontation at the Willow Creek Sheriff's Station, where Megan Walsh, Lila Harper, and Travis Boone faced the unraveling of their tangled lives. Lila broke down in tears, admitting her affair with Travis stemmed from feeling trapped in a loveless marriage with Will, but she insisted she never wanted him dead. Travis, his face pale, acknowledged his role in sending the text that lured Will to the river, but swore he had no part in the killing. Megan, her eyes cold and unyielding, showed no remorse. She declared she wanted Lila to taste the pain of losing everything, her voice dripping with venom as she described her twisted sense of justice. The final piece of the puzzle fell into place when deputies searched a thicket near Megan's hideout in a neighboring town. Hidden among the brambles, they found the hunting knife she'd used to kill Will. DNA analysis confirmed Will's blood on the blade, and Megan's fingerprints were found on the handle, sealing her fate. This evidence, combined with her confession, formed an ironclad case against her. In October 2025, the trial of Megan Walsh, Lila Harper, and Travis Boone unfolded at the Willow Creek County Courthouse. Megan was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without parole. her lack of remorse chilling the courtroom. Lila, though not directly responsible for Will's death, was found guilty of obstruction of justice for failing to report what she saw at the river. She received a 3-year sentence. Travis was convicted as an accessory after the fact for his role in luring Will to the river, earning a 1-year sentence. The affair between Lila and Travis, born of loneliness and longing, had become the spark that ignited this tragedy. It not only shattered Lila's marriage, but also gave Megan the perfect opportunity to execute her vengeful plan. After the trial, Sophie Carter, now an orphan in all but name, was placed in the care of her grandmother. The once vibrant 8-year-old grew quiet and withdrawn, but a local charity stepped in to support her education, offering a glimmer of hope for her future. While serving her sentence, Lila began writing a journal, pouring out her regret for betraying Will and the pain of leaving Sophie to bear the consequences. Megan, isolated in her prison cell, cut off contact with the outside world, her heart hardened by her choices. The quiet town of Willow Creek would never be the same, forever marked by the brutal murder on the banks of the Willow River. A chilling reminder of how love, betrayal, and vengeance can intertwine with devastating consequences.